well. What do we have here? If it isn't the notorious El Guapo, what have you gotten yourself into this time? Look at you, stuck out here in the asteroid field, sleeping on the job. Don't tell me you've been huffing on that quant again. Thought you were supposed to be prospecting. Stop faking like you're sleeping and listen up. It's time to get up and get your act together. I'm sure the quant will wear off at some point. Let's get to work and get this Prospector guy done with once and for all. I've been asked for a while now to give my take on prospector mining and how I would go about it. Prospecting can be very enjoyable. It can be fast-paced and thrilling, or it can be an easy time. With this in mind, I will go over 2 mining styles and 2 builds. Let's get into it. For easy mining, I use the Hofstede with a Stampede module. This will give you a big green zone window, a lot of distance to work with, and plenty of ease with the smallest rocks. You won't be able to break rocks as big as the Helix, but you will be rewarded with the ease of mining. The optimal distance for the Hofstede starts at 45 meters and has a max range at 135. This will be able to break a 14K rock with the Stampede module running. I think of this as a comfort build, something that will be consistent and easy. It limits the challenges that mining tends to throw your way. For my personal playstyle, I choose to go with a more difficult and aggressive mining build that has the potential of breaking bigger rocks. For this, I choose to go with the Helix with a Focus 3 module and a Stampede. Now this will have a much smaller green window compared to the Hofstede, but this will allow you to break up to around 20K rocks and give you more options for swapping your setup on the fly. For instance, you can swap that Focus out for something like the Riger or a Surge if you are brave enough to break even larger rocks. The Helix is going to give you a small amount of wiggle room and distance to work with at 15 meters optimal range and 45 meters max range. You'll be rewarded for your efforts when one rock fills up your entire Prospector though. As for the Quantum Drive, you can go with any number of options. My recommendations are to go with either the fastest drive, which is the VK00, or the quick mid-range budget drive, the Atlas. With the VK, you can't travel as far and will fuel up often, but is much faster. The Atlas is a bit slower, but I feel is a more comfortable option for me. I always go with the Atlas. Now that we have the tools, let's talk about the locations. Since we are in the Prospector, we have different priorities and opportunities in comparison to the Mole. Since we can fly while we mine, we now have the option to make Microtech and Hurston our base of operations. The local weather that would push the Mole will push us as well, but that's not a big deal in the Prospector. Because of this barrier to entry on Microtech and its moons, we will not be seeing many moles taking up the good rocks and leaving us the scraps. Now if planetary mining isn't your bag, and you are looking for something more calm and tranquil, feel free to travel to the Aaron's Halo, Yella's asteroid belt, or any of the refinery stations. With each location I mentioned will come pros and cons. But first I want to hammer some points into your head so you can make those decisions with all the information before you dive in. Planetary mining can be seen as the riskiest option. It will yield you more clusters, less single rocks, less flying between scans, and it is the most profitable. Mining in the Aaron's Halo is infinitely safer in comparison. In reference to PvP or pirates, the only thing you have to worry about here are the invisible asteroids that can blow you up. I don't know how common they are anymore, but because of this, you won't see the El Guapo out in the belt anytime soon until I see the patch notes. In the belt, each rocker cluster can have a different common element. This is actually a negative thing. It means you have less control over your rocks and profits per hour. It means you can't target the common materials you are after. The belt has way less clusters than any of the planets and moons that you can mine. Even in the 5th band, which is the most dense band of the Halo, you will be constantly bouncing from single rock to single rock 13 to 20 kilometers apart on a regular basis. Now another great and slept on option is mining at the refinery points. Its danger level sits in between the Halo and planetary mining. One positive with mining here is that the common materials are more controlled. You will find the same 2 or 3 common elements depending on the station you're at. Every station's rocks will have a different pool of 2 or 3 it chooses from, making some stations better than others. The biggest positive, though, is the speed and potential of finding a nice rock, mining it up, and being right at the station to turn it in and get right back out to mining. Now that we went over locations, let's get into some of the other important information regarding the Prospector. When mining in the Prospector, you don't have the SCU space of the mole or the power of the mole size 2 lasers, so obviously we have to aim for smaller targets. We are going to assume a 14K max break size with this Hoff setup and around a 19K max size with the Helix setup. So with this information, you should be looking in an area that has a low density common material. For instance, aluminum, quartz, titanium, corundum. If you can only break a 15K rock, let's say, let's make sure you get a payday from it. Avoid the copper, tungsten, iron, etc. Our goal is to get as much tier 1 and Q as possible. One more thing I'd like to mention. If you know someone with a mole, have one lying around, or come across a mole out in the wild, as of 3/21 you can still swap your Prospector bags for the mole bags. This will bring your SCU total from 32 to 48. Now once you get them on your ship, just store it, take a part off the ship, pull it out, store it again, and put the part back on. You should be good to go even if you destroy that ship and have to claim it. Now I'd like to take a moment of your time to make an announcement. Thanks to a mysterious benefactor and supporter, a mythical legend if you will, I have acquired a beautiful brand spanking new MISC Prospector. Elegant, sleek, engaging. I will be giving this Prospector away to one lucky subscriber in the coming month. You all know how painful it is for me to just give away a mining ship. This is unheard of. It's never happened before, might never happen again, who knows. If you want to be entered in to win it, all you have to do is subscribe. 70% of my video viewers have not subscribed. Now I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. Well, now you have the chance to fix that. And now you have the chance of winning a Prospector as well. Back to the programming. Now I want to go on and talk about controls. Using a stick or multiple sticks seem to feel a lot better while prospecting than it does for me in the mole. Considering you have to fly the ship and mine at the same time, you have to have your stick set up a bit different. If you are like me and like using one stick and the mouse, it is important you make sure you have your laser throttle set to your mouse scroll wheel once again. If you are using just a stick or 2 sticks, it's important you have the throttle somewhere your thumb can get to while you are flying. Let me tell you how I like to mine in the Prospector. Honestly, the way I like to do it is by approaching the rock, getting to the optimal distance, and pushing the appropriate amount of power into the rock that lets it climb, but not too rapidly. I then leave my power at the same level and control the power of the laser by controlling the distance to the rock. Instead of throttling my power up and down, I will just pull the ship back and forward depending on what it needs. The closer you get to the rock past the optimal zone, the more power it will get. The further away from the optimal distance, the less power it will get. If things get a little dicey out there and you gain some overcharge, just back off as far as possible. The Prospector is known to get damaged easily, drops the bags right off, ruining your mining run instantly. Just to be safe, make sure you are always watching your distance and backing off anytime you feel in danger. For my final thoughts. Since you have the options the mole doesn't for mining, I suggest you take advantage of Microtech. Considering Mike L2 Long Forest Station has the best tier 1 refinery rates in the game, giving it a plus 1% to quant, plus 9% to gold, and plus 9% to Bexelite. It doesn't get better than that outside of Arc L2, which just beats it on its Quantanium bonus. If I only had the Prospector, I guarantee you would only ever see me on Microtech or one of its moons, and I'd be stationed at the L2 refinery. With all this in mind, you can expect about 120 to 150k per load after the refinery fees with 32 SCU. You will be 200 to 230k average with the 48 SCU. I'm basing all these numbers off tier 1 materials without Quantanium. Think that just about wraps it up. If you liked the video and want to be entered into the giveaway, please like and subscribe. Comment below what you want to see me work on next. You can find me streaming on YouTube most nights around 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come stop by to watch the master work. If you have the means to show some financial support, you can do so here and in the video description. If you are a miner and would like to join my cult of mining, the link is above and in the video description as well. Now I want to give a shout out to all of my supporters that have helped me along the way. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I appreciate you more than you know. Now, if you see me out there in the black, pop a flare for me.